Welcome back to the Earliest Reviews. Today's review is focused on Only Murders in the Building, Episode 8, entitled Fan Fiction. And the official synopsis of fan fiction is: hitting a dead end, the group calls for reinforcements in the form of their podcast Superfans. And before I give up my review, please like and subscribe and comment and tell me what I should review next. And when it comes with episode 8, I felt like episode 8 was not a bad episode at all. We continue to get new discoveries, possible ideas for new suspects. So the episode starts off with an introduction of the podcast's superfans, people who enjoy the podcast really much, as they have been following the case for a long time now, since the very beginning, and they even have their own ideas as in who may be the suspect, what really may have happened to Tim and everything else. Meanwhile, we see Oliver and Mabel. They are still in Theo's truck as Theo is taking them to an unknown location. They're trying to figure out what could this all possibly mean, what the smell is and everything else. But they are taken to an unknown location where Teddy is waiting for them, and Teddy punches Oliver in the stomach, and he takes them back to the apartment complex as Teddy, he doesn't like the fact of what they're doing with the podcast, and he basically gives them an ultimatum, as in they can release one more episode or they can end it prematurely with no final episode. And the way that Teddy is straining them is somewhat serious, as he's trying to make it seem as if like Tim Kono killed his own self, that he did it to himself. And he basically says is that like if they release the podcast and says anything else other than Tim Kono killed himself, then it's going to be a huge freaking problem. So once they return to the apartment complex, they go to Charles, and for some reason Jan is still there, and apparently Charles and Jan decided to look through Tim's phone, and they found out a whole bunch of like new evidence that makes it seem like Tim was really trying to bring down Teddy and Theo, as ever since the night of the murders where Zoe was killed, he has just been on a mission to take both of them down for what he saw, as of the fears of what was going to happen and everything else. And sometime later, Mabel, the entire gang decide to talk to the person who gave them Tim's cell phone, Detective Williams. And they explain to Detective Williams about their situation, about what could possibly happen with the last episode if Teddy doesn't like what they say. And Detective Williams is like, they have to make a chart and figure out as in the who, the what, the why, the where, if they really believe that Teddy and his son Theo may have done it. And that's what happens for some time being. Jan continues to come back and forth. She comes back with some homemade mini pizzas for everyone to eat on. Oscar, he stops by, makes an appearance, and he reveals a shocking information. He was able to talk to Cutter, who Tim was looking to speak a couple of days before he gets killed. And Cutter reveals is that Tim was able to get the green ring, the green emerald ring that he was looking for the day before he was killed. And I don't know, something a part of me is really thinking as if like this green ring, the emerald ring, it may have some type of importance. Like, I think the green ring is something bigger than expected. Like, it has a deeper meaning, because I don't know why he was looking for this ring for over 10 years. Like, and the fact is that when he was killed, that ring is missing, as Mabel pointed out. Like, she has all of the jewelry that Tim had in his apartment, but that ring of itself was missing. So I don't know, something about this ring is just saying that it may be more important than it may be. I don't know. Oliver, he and Mabel are both annoyed by Jan's appearance as Jan is trying to help out with this case and everything. But something a part of me is really just thinking as if like Jan is just looking way more suspicious in this episode. Like, why all of a sudden is she's trying to help out with this case? Like, I don't know if she's a part of it or she's trying to hide something, like distance them from the real truth. But something is just telling me that she is just hiding something and that she is not trying to make sure it gets exposed and everything with this. And Oliver decides to get the Superfans' help when it comes to figuring out the who, the what, the where, and the why. And he decides to make a short play trying to figure out what happened on the day exactly Tim was killed and everything. And Oliver continues to point out more evidence as well when it comes to Tim's death. And he tells Jan off once again. Jan gets annoyed and she leaves. But something is up though, because when Jan returns to her apartment, she receives a note on the door that says, "I'm watching you." So I don't know if they're trying to make it seem like the killer actually lives in the building or Jan wrote that herself, but someone is watching her and they don't like what they're seeing at all. So the next day, the entire gang filmed their final podcast exposing everything out with many residents, the Superfans, Detective Williams listening to the events and everything. And it seems as if like the Demuses may have done it and everything. And Detective Williams is very interested and she brings him down for questioning. The Superfans, they have a lot more questions like, why would Teddy help out with the podcast if he may have done it? And it seems as if like everything is all good. Mabel shows Oscar the videos that Tim had made before he was killed, as Tim explains the situation, as in why he's doing this when it comes to trying to bring down Teddy and Theo, and how he's trying to get every single thing of evidence that he can to right the wrongs of not saying anything. He apologizes to Oscar for what he did, as he knows that he was wrong for not saying anything, but also when you look at it, he was threatened with his life too and Mabel's. So it's a lose-lose situation when it comes to Tim and what he had to do and everything else. And just when it seems as if like everything is all peachy, Detective Williams finally receives the autopsy reports, and it shows that Tim was indeed poisoned and he was already dead before he was shot and everything. So basically, the Demuses, they were nowhere near the building of Tim getting killed. So they're out as suspects and we're back to square one. Charles tries to go see Jan in her apartment, but Jan, I think, was shot and everything as she's not moving, and Charles tries to get help. I felt like this was a pretty good episode. It definitely does open up a lot of doors, questions, and everything else when it comes to ideas of suspects. And when it comes to my ideas of suspects that I have, part of me really still thinks that Jan may have something a part of it, because she was just acting a little bit too shady in this episode, trying to help out the gang, causing more of a problem. Like, why was she trying to help everyone out all of a sudden? Like, what's up with that? When it comes to Teddy and Theo, part of me thinks they may have something to do with it. Part of me really don't think like that, because Tim was trying to bring down both of them for what he saw, and killing him, who knows? And another part of me kind of thinks that the doorman may be a part of it, because he has access to all of the cameras and everything, and I don't think he's ever been questioned by the gang of what he may know. So maybe Lester the doorman. Some folks in the Reddit forum has been saying Ursula, and I kind of do think it may be her as well, Ursula, but only time will tell. We are like 2 more episodes before it's all over for season 1. But it's good so far. And until next time, everybody, goodbye.